Okay, so we're diving deep into AI for content creation today.
Mm-hmm.
And, whoa, things are getting kind of wild.
Yeah.
We're unpacking FineShare online voice changer.
Okay.
And it's not just like those funny filters you see online.
Right.
This is AI that can practically become other voices.
It really is remarkable how quickly AI is changing creative tools these days.
It's true.
FineShare is a perfect example.
Yeah.
You've gone from like basic voice modulation to like scarily real cloning in just a few years.
Yeah, like what used to take expensive studios and, bringing in voice actors.
Right.
Now anyone with an internet connection can do.
Exactly.
And I bet you're already seeing how this could be huge EE for podcasting.
Oh, absolutely.
Like our source material even mentions bringing historical figures to life.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, like, instead of just describing Abraham Lincoln, listeners could hear a voice eerily, like the debating modern politics.
It's pretty amazing.
It's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
But in a cool way.
It is really cool how FineShare pulls this off.
Yeah, how does it even work?
Well, it's not just mimicry.
Okay.
They use this thing called deep learning, which basically means they train a computer on tons and tons of voice data.
Oh, well.
So it analyzes people's accents and tones, even those micro pauses we all make, and then replicates them with scary accuracy.
Okay. That is both cool and kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, having like 1,000 voice effects at my fingertips,
Right.
that's pretty tempting.
It's very cool.
And they say it's super easy to use.
Yeah.
No software downloads or anything. Just go to their website, upload some audio, and bam.
It is really that simple.
Wow.
But that ease of use does come with some downsides too, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. How so?
Well, on one hand, it makes content creation accessible for everyone.
Right.
Anyone can make professional-sounding content now.
Yeah.
But it also raises some ethical questions.
Sure.
Like, what if someone uses it to impersonate someone's voice?
Oh, that's a good point. We got to talk about the ethical side of this
Yeah.
because using someone's voice without consent is a big no-no.
Yeah, definitely a big no-no.
But before we go there,
Sure.
I want to loop back to the creative possibilities for content creators like you.
Okay, yeah.
Like, imagine producing a really suspenseful audio drama where each character has a distinct voice, all thanks to AI.
Oh, wow.
You could create such an immersive listening experience.
Absolutely. And it has the potential to make things more accessible.
How so?
Well, creators who might not have the resources to hire professional voice actors could use FineShare to bring those stories to life.
Oh, that's a great point.
Imagine like a visually impaired podcaster using AI to create distinct voices for different characters in their audio drama.
That's incredible.
It really is pretty amazing when you think about it.
It's like this tool is bursting with creative potential.
I agree.
But you're right, we can't gloss over the ethical stuff.
Right.
I mean, this is voice we're talking about.
Yeah.
Something deeply personal to people.
Absolutely. And that's something the source material really focuses on.
Okay.
One thing that stood out to me was this idea of informed consent.
Informed consent.
Okay. So basically, if you're going to use someone's voice,
Yeah.
they need to know exactly how you're using it and give you permission.
Which makes sense.
Right.
Like, it would be really messed up to use someone's voice to, like, endorse a product without their knowledge.
Exactly.
Or imagine someone creates a whole podcast episode
Oh, goodness.
with a cloned voice making them say things they never actually said.
Yeah, that's getting into dangerous territory, for sure.
Legally and ethically.
Totally.
So.
It really highlights why platforms like FineShare need to be very clear about their guidelines.
And have safeguards in place.
Exactly.
But even beyond the legal stuff.
Right.
There's a whole other layer of just being a decent human being.
No, absolutely.
Like, just because we can clone someone's voice doesn't mean we should.
It's about being mindful of the impact our actions have on others.
For sure. So for content creators, thinking about using this ethically,
Yeah.
where do we even begin?
Well, transparency is key. If you're using AI-generated voices in your content, just be upfront about it.
So like a disclaimer at the beginning of a podcast episode.
Absolutely. Or even a dedicated segment explaining how you're using AI.
And why?
Yeah, and especially if you're using a specific voice, like a celebrity or historical figure,
Yeah, that makes sense.
you probably want to have a longer discussion about your creative choices.
Because you don't want to mislead your audience
Yeah,
into
sure.
thinking it's actually that person.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance.
Right.
Now, shifting gears a bit,
Go.
our source material also mentioned how this tech can impact audience engagement.
Really? How so?
What really stood out to me was the potential for, like, interactive content.
Oh, like choose your own adventure.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's cool.
Imagine a podcast where listeners could actually hear the story unfold in different voices based on their choices.
Like, do you want to follow the clues from the detective? Click here. Want to hear the story from the suspect's point of view? Click here.
Yes.
And then, boom, different voice. Whole new layer of immersion.
Exactly. Or think about incorporating listener feedback in ways we've never seen before.
Interesting.
Like, imagine using FineShare to create a unique voice for your top supporters.
Oh, like a reward for being a top subscriber.
And you could even give them a chance to be featured in your content.
Have their comment read in this fun AI voice.
Yeah.
That's next level engagement.
It really is. It's about blurring the lines between creator and consumer.
Wow.
And making content creation more collaborative.
I like it. Okay, so we've covered the wow factor of AI voice cloning
Mm-hmm.
and the ethical tightropes you got to walk.
It's a lot.
But for those of you ready to dive in,
Yeah.
let's get practical.
Right.
Our source material had some good tips on making this stuff sound good.
Right. Because a cool voice is one thing,
Yeah,
but if the audio quality is bad, it doesn't matter.
nobody's going to listen.
Exactly.
So one term that came up was high-pass filtering.
Okay.
And I know that sounds intimidating.
Yeah.
But it's actually about solving a problem almost every podcaster faces.
What?
Unwanted low-frequency noise.
Ah, I see.
So picture this. You're recording the perfect take,
Okay.
and suddenly construction starts up outside your window.
Oh, no.
Or your neighbor's dog decides it's bark at the mailman time.
The worst.
High-pass filtering helps minimize those rumbles
Hey.
that muddy up your audio,
So it lets your voice.
or that awesome AI voice shine
Yes,
through.
I like it.
And then there's equalization,
Equalization?
or EQ for short.
Okay.
It's like fine-tuning the frequencies of a voice to make it sound richer, warmer.
So kind of like we use filters on selfies,
Exactly.
but for audio.
To make sure everything sounds balanced and polished.
I like the analogy.
And here's what I thought was interesting.
What's that?
FineShare actually gives you some control over these settings.
Oh, wow, really?
So you can experiment with the EQ, the filtering.
That's cool. You have a lot of control.
And our source material had this great tip about consistency,
Consistency.
especially if you're using different voices throughout your content.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because like you don't want your listener thinking,
Yeah.
wait, is that supposed to be the same character? They sound totally different.
Right. It'll be really jarring.
Yeah. So consistency in audio quality helps maintain that illusion of reality.
That immersive feeling you're going for.
For sure. And speaking of realism,
Yeah.
our source material also talked about realism through variation.
Okay, what does that mean?
So like even with AI,
Mm-hmm.
those tiny details are what make a voice sound human.
Like what?
Think about those little breaths we take,
Okay.
or the subtle changes in tone when we're excited or thoughtful.
Yeah, it's hard to fake those.
And that's where the human ear still beats the algorithm.
Totally.
Like as you experiment with FineShare, you start to notice those nuances,
And you become a better sound designer.
almost by accident.
I love that.
And speaking of experimenting,
Yeah.
we can't forget about the communities popping up around tools like this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The source material specifically mentioned X.
What's going on over there?
Creators are sharing their FineShare experiments, tips, even funny fails.
So it's a great place to learn.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe someone listening right now will stumble on the next big thing in AI audio
I love that idea.
just by playing around.
That's how it happens.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into FineShare,
Yeah.
I'm honestly a little mind blown.
Me too.
It's clearly very powerful,
A potential game changer.
but it also comes with a lot of responsibility.
It does. It's a great example of how AI is changing creative fields. But at the end of the day, it's a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it's up to us to use it thoughtfully and ethically
Couldn't have said it better myself.
and to keep pushing those creative boundaries in ways that benefit everyone.
Yes. And on that note, a huge thank you to all of you for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Now go out there, experiment responsibly, and let us know what amazing audio you create.